In this video, we're going to be talking through the results of your Inbody scan that you did at Stat Wellness. So once you do the test, it will print this report out for you. And so what we're looking at is what your body composition is, and how the Inbody works is it sends this electrical impulse through your body, and it moves faster through certain tissue and slower through other tissue. And that's how it's separating it into fat mass and muscle mass. So the first graph right here, or the first bar graph I like to look at, is just the overall breakdown. So what you want to see is you want this to be the shape of a D. That's what we're looking for. We want muscle mass to be the biggest thing on the graph. We always can have more muscle mass. If yours right now looks like a C, the next best option would be an I. So we're just working on that muscle mass and then eventually getting to the shape of a D right here. Inbody is basically saying, based on your age and gender, they have this like middle ground, but everyone doesn't need to fit in the same box. So that's okay if you're not within that range. Then the next one is looking at your BMI and your body fat percent. I'm not a fan of the BMI calculation, so I don't usually look at that when I explain it to people, but we do want to look at body fat. So if it's a female doing the test, you really want to be between 18 and 28% for normal hormone function. For males, it will say between 10 and 20%. Then you're looking at your muscle mass within your whole body. I like to look at this one to see what we are, how our symmetry is. So this bottom number underneath here, we want all of those bottom percentages to be over 100. Basically, Inbody has made this calculation saying that if it's over 100, if you fall, you have enough muscle mass to be protective of injury, which is what we want. And so you can see on this one, all of them are over 100, which is awesome. And then the next thing we look at is it symmetrical? So it's okay to have a little bit of variation because we usually have a dominant arm or leg. And so you can see in this one, there is a almost 5 or over 5 point difference. And so I would say anything over 2 points is more significant. And so we just recommend that if you are doing your daily activities like bringing the groceries in or doing a lot of things with one arm, try to mix it up when you can. And then there might be other reasons. You might know like, oh, I did have an injury to that shoulder or something like that that shows why it's different. So making sure that if you do have really big asymmetries, may be important to see one of our physical therapists who can help with that. Then this graph right here is looking at how much water is inside your cell versus outside your cell. This is going to show if we have any dehydration or inflammation, chronic inflammation. So what we want is we want it to be right around 0.38 within this range. And so that's what your goal is. If it's too low or too high, like I said, it could mean that you are dehydrated or you're having some more inflammation in your body. So that's something that you can track, especially if you're coming in here for functional medicine. There's other markers through blood that we can track to see if it is more inflammation. Then down here is if you do the Inbody on our machine, again, it will track your results, but it's only tracking weight, muscle mass, body fat percentage, and that cellular one. So it's okay if you do it on different machines. You can always take a picture of yours and save it. The last few things I like to look at on here that are important are looking at the visceral fat. So visceral fat is that fat that's around your internal organs that we can't always see, but it is linked to more metabolic disorders. And so we really want everyone below 10. In the most ideal world, we'd be below 5. And so things that can impact this number are lifestyle changes, making sure that we're not eating a lot of processed foods, alcohol, sugars, but that we're having more balanced diet of whole new foods that are nutrient dense. And then the last thing I like to look at on this one is the basal metabolic rate. So basically what it's saying is this is how many calories you are burning if you just laid down and didn't even blink. You're just breathing. It's like that's how much energy your body needs to do all the cellular function to survive. And so this is a really important number to look at because we want to be fueling our body appropriately, and we need to be fueling it appropriately to actually gain muscle mass, especially if your numbers were below 100 on this one. And so making sure that you're eating enough food and getting enough protein. And then as your muscle mass gets bigger, this number gets higher and we burn more calories just at rest. Which is awesome. So if you guys have any questions about your Inbody, you can always reach out to us. We have lots of different services that can help you reach your goals. So if you're someone who's looking to improve your body composition and you need to specifically improve your strength, then talking to maybe one of our physical therapists or personal trainers or coming into group fitness would be a good option for you. Also, if you're training for something and you're wondering about fueling or what this basal metabolic rate really is about, we have registered dietitians on staff and health coaches that can help you here. Or if you're wanting to address any of these different numbers that you notice, like, oh, I'd like to get this better, we have functional medicine that really helps with all across the board things going on. So gut health, hormones, it could be more inflammation focused if this number is off. And then, like I said, we have physical therapists, health coaches, dietitians, and group fitness and personal training. So we are able to address all these things at STAT, and we love having something like the Inbody so that we can track our progress. We always want to be testing and retesting after we implement things and give ourselves adequate time to make changes in a sustainable way.